In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 most important apps that I think you should have if you're planning to visit or move to Mexico. But first, let's go somewhere a little more interesting. So one of the first apps that I would recommend that you have is a map app. Now, most phones are going to have one already installed, Apple Maps or Google Maps, and that's good enough. It's just going to save you a lot of frustration trying to navigate. A tip that I would say is also when you're out roaming around using your maps, do a screenshot before you leave your Wi-Fi area, whether it's your Airbnb, hotel, or home. Especially if you're new to an area, do a couple screenshots so that if you lose your data or can't find Wi-Fi when you're out and about, or something happens that you lose your route, that you have some screenshots. Now, a good thing about maps is that most of the applications do actually save the route onto your phone so that you don't need to continually run data, but don't rely on that, especially if you make a wrong turn and then your map starts to reroute your path, then yeah, you can get lost. Traveling to Mexico, probably also be good to know the phrase "estoy perdida," which means I'm lost. So you can ask somebody, "Puede ayudarme? Estoy perdida." Then just describe where you're going, and hopefully they can help you out. Okay, so I've just stopped in at the Antea Shopping Center, and this is a good opportunity for me to talk about the second app that I think is very valuable when traveling in Mexico. One of the most valuable apps that I have is a currency conversion. And so you can just simply use it to calculate the difference. So if I'm going to buy a pair of pants and they're 1,000 pesos, well, the currency conversion will show me that they are equivalent to $74 Canadian. So another valuable app to have is your Translate. Google Translate works great. Sometimes works great. Google Translate works great when you input the correct words. How's that? There are a few things that you should practice. You should practice typing in the phrase that you want to say, but also using the microphone, and also Google Translate has a camera option that you can just scan the text, which is very useful for signs in windows, things like that, and you just need a quick translation or even menus. Quiero un club sandwich, por favor. Okay, so Didi food. In fact, I'm about to talk about Didi. So one of the next apps that I would recommend is, of course, Uber to get around from place to place. But the thing is, here in Mexico, there's also an app called Didi. Now, Didi's available in other countries other than Mexico, but I don't believe it's available in Canada. I'm not sure about the United States. I can compare the price between Uber and Didi, and usually Didi is less expensive than Uber. Let's have a look. So, Uber is offering me a ride for 150 pesos, and Didi is offering me a ride for 116 pesos. So let me throw that into my conversion, and 150 pesos into Canadian is 11 Canadian dollars, or $129. So the question becomes, is one safer than the other? And I think there was a problem with Didi somewhere here in Mexico last year, but I think really it's gonna depend on where you are in the service. Here in Querétaro, it's a safe city. I think both services would be safe.
So here, it's definitely a savings. Now, I should point out as well that there are some places in Mexico where you can't get Uber or Didi, many places, and so even some cities. Cancun, I believe, there is no Uber, and if there are any Uber drivers, I think that the taxi drivers have a bit of an issue with that, so probably don't want to take an Uber. Just keep the taxi drivers happy. As far as safety, again, one thing I like about Uber is that it's recorded. You know, you have an app recording your location and what's going on. I feel it's a little bit safer than just waving down a taxi on the street, which I have done here in Querétaro, and I don't have a problem with it. But elsewhere in Mexico, yeah, maybe it would be questionable. I don't know. I feel safer with Uber or Didi. So that's my choice. And I recommend both of those apps. And then just compare them. And when you're in a city, ask people who are also in the city which app they use and why. So I should also mention that with Didi, you're able to pay cash. So it's kind of in between a taxi and an Uber. A little bit more convenient when you're traveling. If you have a bit of cash, you can register your ride, pay cash when you get there. So now, I'm here in Centro. Estoy aquí en El Centro. So the final app I'd like to recommend to you is WhatsApp. And WhatsApp is an internationally available freeware instant messaging platform that you can put on your cell phone and also on your desktop or notebook computer. As I've been traveling, I've been able to use WhatsApp in airports and train stations and cafes when I don't have data and connect to the public Wi-Fi to be able to stay in contact with the people that might be worried about me, or that I'm just sending updates to say I'm here now and I'm still alive. And of course, there are a lot of other apps that you could have, and if I was to recommend any others, I would probably say to add a VPN for a little bit of security onto your phone. I use NordVPN. It works well for me, but there's other options out there. So those are the apps I recommend. Those are the apps I use almost on a daily basis. And that's really all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching.